Hello and welcome to another edition of Focus. You know, one of the things is about Arizona is we have a lot of different activities that are going on. Last week you heard from Chandler on the Juneteenth. Well, this week is going to be Phoenix. If you're not familiar with what Juneteenth is, you definitely want to hear from us. We have two guests, Mr. Vernon Williams, Mr. Clovis Campbell, who's going to talk about the history of Juneteenth, as well as some of the activities that are going to be going on that are going to be very exciting later on this afternoon. Juneteenth is going to start at 6 p.m. down at South Mountain Community College. So once again, get the family around. It's fun for everybody. It's going to be for your neighbors, for your children, for yourself, and it's going to be very educational. So once again, don't touch the remote. We're going to be right back when Focus continues. Welcome back to Focus. Later on this afternoon, or I should say this evening, starting at 6 o'clock, is the Juneteenth celebration. If you're not familiar with what Juneteenth is all about, you will after you finish watching the show. And also, if you do know, maybe we'll tell you a little bit about what's going to be going on and what you can expect. I have two guests that I'm going to introduce you to right now who are very instrumental in having this event put together. First, we have Mr. Vernon Williams, who's an historian in Arizona, as well as an educator. And let me tell you, when you want to know about Black history, Vernon is the one to go to. And Mr. Clovis Campbell, who is the founder, one of the founders, along with his wife, of the Valley of the Sun Juneteenth, as well as the very instrumental in getting that weekly Arizona Informant newspaper. This is kind of exciting because we used to do quite a bit for Juneteenth, and then like anything else, you kind of get away from it. So I was very happy to get back involved with it and talk a little bit about it, Juneteenth, because people, for one, don't know what it's about, particularly if you come from the East Coast. Mm-hmm. And number two, it's the time of year when you're like, what can you do today? Mommy, you know, what are we going to do today? What a great activity to do today in the evening when it's cooling off. So first of all, let me start with you, Vernon. If you could just tell us a little bit of history into Juneteenth for those who may not exactly know what it is.
Well, certainly, Vernon. Let me thank you again for having me on. It's always wonderful, a pleasure to be on Focus and give me the opportunity to talk about Juneteenth. Juneteenth, June 19th, is that long-awaited, glorious day that people called African Americans were hoping and praying and crying and dying for 250 years. The day of Jubilee, the day of freedom, the day of liberation, was the day that they were all longing for. And when the day finally came, January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed approximately 75% of the slaves, or those who were enslaved. It was the 13th Amendment to the Constitution that was amended in 1865 that actually freed all the enslaved persons in North America. But it was 2.5 years later, June 19th, 1865, that General Granger rode into a small town in Texas called Galveston and made the public announcement that all the you persons who were chattel slaves are now free. It had been 2.5 years, and news was slow to travel. But not only that, those who were part of the slave aristocracy did not want African Americans to know they were free. As a matter of fact, there were slave owners that were taking their slaves to Texas to try to prolong the enslavement of those people. So they were trying to extend the oppression and bondage of African American people. So it was on that fabulous day of June 19th that African Americans in Galveston found out the great news that they were freed, emancipated.
Clovis, I want to come to you because there is a little confusion. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, Juneteenth has been celebrated on various days, as Vernon said, June 19th, and I know we try to celebrate it on a Saturday, so it could be this year. It's going to be later on today, which is June 16th. But tell me a little bit, and first of all, let me thank you for doing it, because you know, once again, you know, what started off as a great idea, and then it kind of went astray, and now it's back to when it should be, June. Even though it's a little warm, but at 6 o'clock in the evening, it's cooling down a lot. It really is cooling down.
Oh, without a doubt.
How long have you started this? What made you start the Valley of the Sun Juneteenth celebration?
Well, you know, it's an idea that my wife, Lynette, and I came up with about 4 years ago. And what happened is, as you know, the city of Phoenix at that time decided that people weren't coming out to the Juneteenth celebration that was being held at East Lake Park.
Right.
And it was in the afternoon from about 2 o'clock until 3 in the afternoon, from 10 in the morning to
10
probably
in the
about
morning,
3. Yeah,
right.
10 to about 3 in the afternoon.
The hottest part of the day.
120, 115 degrees. It's kind of warm. And they decided that they weren't getting the revenues that should come out of it. So they decided to move this day to February. Now, you're going to take a holiday that we have control over, and the city decides to move our holiday.
In June, they move it to February.
And call it Febteenth. So most people weren't too happy with that idea. And if you think about it, it wasn't too hot for the slaves back then, and they did not have air conditioning as well. So why are we going to decide to change a holiday in midstream? So we thought about doing it, and everybody said, we think you should guys give it a shot. Go ahead and see what happens. We talked to Ken Atwater, who we really appreciate, the president of South Mountain Community College. He said, I'd be more than happy to have this program here. We brought it on board, and it's been growing and growing for the last 3 or 4 years. This is our 4th year, I believe, and we've had you hosting it for us, Vernon, ever since its inception, and it's been getting bigger and better every time.
And you know, one of the things I have to say, and I don't mean any disrespect for those who did it before, you took it in your own hands.
Sure.
And you took it, and African Americans now are making the decisions. And we were kind of losing a grip on it, and I think that's why it went to February. People were involved with it who maybe shouldn't, in my eyes, be involved in it. And now African Americans are making decisions and getting the support instead of looking for someone else to do it and do it all. And you know, we thank you, Master, for giving this to us. But really, I mean, I really do. And I'm back, you know, and that's why when you told me about it was going to be back in June, hey, I'm ready for this, you know. I'm ready. And it is a family affair, man. It's getting
big time family affair. You know, one of the things that, you know, it shows is that when you go and take back what you need to have done as far as getting our holiday back and making sure we put it in our control. If you look at other holidays, you have the emancipation, the Cinco de Mayo, that's run by Hispanics mostly. You have the Native American issues, their things are run, even Independence Day. I don't see too many African Americans on the 4th of July committee. So, you know, to put this back in our control, I think it was real imperative that we do that, and to show that, you know, this is something that we can embrace and we can run our own programs. So, you know, it not only was, it's almost like a re-emancipation, Gershon, of getting our holiday back and getting control of our own reconstruction. So we're happy to do it. It's been a great success the last few years, and it's going to be bigger and better this year. You know, tonight we're going to have all kind of things going on, and I want to definitely let you know more about that. Yeah,
and we want to find out more about that. But I want to ask you a question, not that it maybe matters at all, but, you know, it's always nice to have the city support of things. How is the city supporting you because you moved it from Febteenth, whatever they called it, back to June where it really belongs? And have they been supportive of this?
Well, you know, they have been. I worked with A.J. Miller, Dr. Will Counts, and those people.
Oh, absolutely.
And what they've done is they saw that the holiday still was receptive in June like we did, so they moved their program back to June as well, but they do theirs in the morning. So there's no conflict between the afternoons program that they have and the evening sessions that we have, because you also have programs going on in Yuma, you've got them going on in Tucson, Chandler, you've got them going on even in Arcosanti with Mill Canyon doing a thing up in Prescott. So, you know, it's now a statewide holiday.
Yeah, and I encourage people, you know, you have enough time to go to several of them.
Exactly.
You can shoot out, you know, start in Phoenix. Phoenix, I think, is, I'm not going to say it's the largest, but I certainly know it's very large. And one of the nicest things is you can bring your family down there, and to my knowledge, no problems.
No problems.
We don't have any problems.